How's it going, guys? So we got to talk about Brian Johnson, the Liver King, and this new Untold documentary that's coming out on Netflix. So back in, I believe it was December of 2022, Brian Johnson, the Liver King, got exposed for using steroids, for using testosterone. Now, if you couldn't tell that this guy was on steroids, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly don't. Like, if you honestly believe that the Liver King was natural, that everything he was doing to obtain his physique was all just due to working out super hard, doing these really bizarre workouts, and on top of that, also eating this ridiculous diet, this like horrific diet of eating raw liver and testicles. I mean, holy cow, eating animal testicles. I mean, if you believe that, and if you actually went out and got yourself some testicles to chow down on, as a result of what you saw Liver King doing over on Instagram, I mean, I have a bridge to sell you. I have a big, long bridge to sell you because that shows that you're super gullible and you'll basically believe anything that is being sold to you on Instagram. And yes, Liver King is basically a giant commercial for his supplements, and that's the funny thing about Liver King. So it's all about the diet, it's all about the exercise. But you know what? You're so lowly. You're such a little worm that can't compete with Liver King because, I mean, this guy is just, has the genetics of a god, and it's, he's just eating all the right things and working out in such a magical way that no one else has been able to do so before him. But you need these supplements. You need to pay up, buddy boy, to look like Liver King. I'm really surprised that as far as we come with the internet and everything, because just as much as there's lies on the internet, there's easy ways to dispel these lies in the same breath. All you have to do is look this shit up. Look it up. I always say that. There's people with fucking phones in their hands 24/7 a day, and guess what? They still don't know shit. You can look up anything on here, and yes, there's a lot of nonsense on here on the internet, but you've got a phone in your hands all day, and I guess it's how you're using it, but I just don't understand how you can be, cruising through Instagram, through X, Facebook, you name it, and you still don't know like that this is far-fetched, that with everything out there, I know there's AI and stuff, but how are you people still getting fooled by this nonsense in 2025? I mean, it's absolutely crazy that you're still fooled by something that is so obviously a ploy to sell you shit. It's, usually that's what it is most of the time on the internet. Everything's a commercial. Everything, someone's got something to sell. Someone's got something to sell, and it's usually packaged in a lie. And that's exactly what Liver King did. Now, Liver King claims that this diet came from a good place. His kids were sick. He started feeding them this specific diet of like raw animal meat. And, I guess they eat the testicles and the liver and stuff like that. Really nasty. Really, really fucking nasty. I mean, you'd almost think like if you're like feeding your kids raw food, doesn't that like somewhat border on child abuse? I mean, there's salmonella, there's E. coli. I mean, we've known these things for years already. I mean, goddamn. I mean, it really is quite shocking that like I don't know that no one's even talking about that. Like, this guy's got kids and this is what he's feeding them. But, I have to tell you something. Maybe this guy may be eating some of this stuff, but I guarantee you, I don't think it's his whole life. This is a character, and this is still something that most people don't seem to be getting through their heads. See, yes, he's using steroids, and, he's still saying that, he's doing these workouts. The workouts are ridiculous. There's nothing that Liver King is doing that's going to get him any better results than anything else that anyone's doing in the gym. I mean, simple stuff, when it comes to cardio, even, there's no need to go through a fucking hike in the woods, and do all this ridiculous stuff. Like, he's climbing into water and doing things that way for added resistance, because this is the way, these are the magical tenets that our forefathers gave to us. What a crock of bullshit. I mean, there is something to be said about Liver King's philosophy. It's good to go outside and touch grass and be one with nature. But, this is ridiculous. I wouldn't really always recommend just climbing into a creek, any body of water that could be contaminated. I wouldn't recommend just going anywhere out in the wilderness and doing this shit without researching it first. I mean, there's a lot of harmful information out there. I mean, you realize that if you eat like raw liver, that you could be contaminated, that you could get very sick. I mean, Jesus, it's very irresponsible. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, if you believe this guy, I feel like you're responsible because you're a moron. But Liver King is also responsible because he's a big boy and he knows exactly what he's doing, putting out this misinformation and misleading people on purpose so he can make money. I mean, this guy has got extensive, assets, to say the least. I mean, you gotta like just see what some of the stuff that this guy has as far as like property and just possessions and stuff. And that's the crazy thing about this guy. It's such a crock of shit. He's making like he's living off the land, yet he lives in a big ass house with modern conveniences. He also traveled to New York on a fucking private jet and doing all this nonsense and bringing it on the road like it's some kind of fucking sideshow. And people are still buying his nonsense. I mean, really. So now we've got this Netflix documentary, and now we're delving deep into Liver King's life, and we're pretty much getting the confirmation that we already knew, that the guy is full of shit. I mean, now it's gonna be a sob story. Oh, my kids! Oh, like, it's probably gonna be that, like, oh, I do it all for them and everything. Look, he's a fucking liar. All right. Let's be perfectly honest here. Liver King is a liar. He did everything he did just like every other influencer. He just did it in a more over-the-top fashion. And more people bought him, more than the average a fitness influencer. That's base. It's just as simple as that. Liver King has a good shtick. He's got a character. It's something interesting. It also is like, you're reviled by the fact he's eating these raw things. Oh, you're like, it's shock. It's shock value. He's like a shock jock in the fitness industry. But it's like, oh, but this guy looks pretty good, right? I mean, never mind, that he's got a bulging abdomen and stuff like that. Like, the abs don't look natural and everything, and they may be implants. I mean, come on. And the thing is, do you really want to walk around smelling like him? It's like very ridiculous overall. I mean, this is a very flawed individual. Even his flaws are making their way, into the recorded product that we're seeing, the footage, So it's like, I don't even know like why you'd want to be like this guy. I mean, I guess it's cool and everything, but it's really, like, if you look at it, it's cartoonish. It's ridiculous. It really is. I mean, God, did people actually out there fucking put testicles in their mouth and eat them? Did people actually go out and get raw liver, and thinking that this stuff was going to help them achieve the physique of their dreams? Guys, enough with this fucking bullshit already with these fucking influencers and everything. Stop buying their shit. Everything basically that you need, you could go on Amazon and do like NutriCost or something like that. The cheapest fucking products that are actually pretty clean. Like what I buy, I'll do a video actually on the supplements that I take. How about that? We'll save it for like another video and I could go through it. But honestly, all you need is, whey protein if you want it, if you need the extra protein. I would recommend it. Creatine and a pre-workout. And if you want to get a little fancy, you could do stuff like collagen. You could take like vitamin D3 supplements, things like that, that will help your health, and then just eat a decent diet. And you don't need to do all this other fucking shit, eat all these special things. There's no one magical food that's gonna just, you're gonna just fucking get 20-inch biceps out of nowhere. That, because I think that's what people think, like, oh, I'm gonna eat this, and it's just, no. It's your performance, your diet, how you program things, what exercises you're doing. That's what matters. The shit that Liver King is talking about, it's like it comes from a good place, but then when he actually starts giving you the details, it just all falls apart. It's in the details, guys. It's all in the details all the time. You just have to look at what these people are selling you, and it will make it a lot easier for you to make your decision to know when something is bullshit and when it's not. And Liver King, it's like fucking 75% bullshit. Like I said, it comes from a place where there's some good things out there. Get out there in nature, try to be as natural as possible with things. But Liver King is not natural. That's what's funny. He's out of nature, but he's not natural. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, to give this guy his documentary and everything, I'm sure it'll be interesting for those who don't know who he is, but it's going to be a lot of bullshit. And once again, we're rewarding people for their bad behavior because they're obviously paying him for this documentary. He's appearing, he's talking, and he's giving, a unique interview here for this documentary. So we're rewarding his bad behavior for hurting people, for misleading them, even though they were idiots for believing him in the first place. But yeah. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let's discuss it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. Thank you to all my subscribers for your continued support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.